Hello, everyone. Thanks for checking out this special episode of Really Dicey. This is Manny, and I'm here with
Stephen Chenault of Trollord Games. I'm the CEO of Trollord Games.
Excellent. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. There's a lot of exciting things I want to talk to you about. We have so many things coming out in the last few months. Congratulations on your Kickstarter a few months back, where it was like a new printing of the very popular Castles and Crusades books.
Yeah, we did. We released the 8th printing of the Player's Handbook, the Castles and Crusades Player's Handbook. It did extraordinarily well, and I'm extremely proud of this rendition of the book. We went, it's been full color for a while, but we kind of spread things out, added levels up to 24th level, added a whole bunch of new art. Just super, super jazzed on that book.
And now you're working on another Kickstarter, the Undying War. What is that exactly?
So the Undying War, this is a series of adventures that we have published over the years. We originally did them in Castles and Crusades, and about 2 years ago, we released them in black and white, small, 24, 36 page adventures for 5th edition. Well, in looking at the way 5th edition folks play their games, it's a little bit different than my background, because I come back from the 70s and 80s and whatnot. I'm very used to small modules. So we've taken these 13 adventures, the A series we call them, completely overhauled them, new maps, new art, a much more cohesive string to connect them all together. And we're going to roll them out into the one large, gigantic adventure path.
I have to ask, I know this is a 5e adventure. I know sometimes people panic that whenever a company does 5e stuff, that maybe there's a problem with the company, or just like what happened with some of the issues that Paizo had to deal with, that people were panicking about when they're making their books for 5e. I'm assuming Trollord Games is still going strong.
Oh yeah, well we've had nothing but the last 4 years have been just absolutely fantastic. We actually started putting out 5th edition material, I guess about maybe 3 years ago, something like that, maybe 5 years ago. Castles and Crusades and 5th edition kind of follow the same philosophy, attribute checks, simplified, the whole 9 yards. So converting our adventures over to 5e early on. Now, I was slow to do it at first, but then we started doing it, and then we started having about a monthly release, I think, for quite a while. So this is absolutely no indication that TLG is doing bad, or 5e is supposed to be some kind of, cure-all or whatever. I really think that it's an extraordinarily vibrant community, and it's a bunch of young gamers, and they approach the game a little bit differently than those of us who are a little bit older do, which is absolutely fantastic. And we want to package our material so that it's very good for them, for younger players and older players too, but for 5e players to dive into it.
So tell me about the Undying War. What can you tell me about the story behind it? What were some of the inspirations behind the lore?
So the Undying War ties, though it ties pretty heavily to the world of Erd, which you see behind me on the wall, our own campaign setting. You can easily kind of take it and do it and fix it for your own world. Essentially, the Towers of Alstrag, which is hell on earth in the world of Erd, has been completely destroyed. They're ruins now, and there's one Lord Coburg the Undying who rules. There's like 21 levels in this gigantic mega tower, and he only rules like 1.5 of them. But he styles himself the God King, and he's trying to rebuild the empire that the Tower of Alstrag ruled over for years and years and years. So he's sent out agents and whatnot to, infiltrate the southern kingdoms and start rebellions and all of this other stuff, sending out orcs and Ungern and other stuff. So when the adventure actually begins, you start at first level in a rising night, and you just begin these short kind of episodic adventures through A0, A1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is really to kind of build up your character, and the CK or the DM in this case, they'll get the idea that there's just kind of teasers in this early part of the adventure of the danger that lies ahead. Once you get to about A5, which will be about a quarter of the way, about halfway through the book, not quite, but close to halfway, then you start really getting into the machinations of Coburg the Undying and what he's trying to do. And it'll take on this kind of epic tone to it. So in the early portions, especially in things like Assault on Blacktooth Ridge, it's really just like 10 small episodic adventures loosely linked together. Slag Heap, which is the second one. The third one, that is also the same kind of thing. But by the time you're in A5 and A6, it's got this overarching epic theme, and you're going essentially to the gates of hell, there to open the gates of hell. And at that point, we turn it over to the GM to govern hell however they want. We have done some of Alfstrag. We've done the first 5 levels of the 21, and I'm working on the next ones as well. So hopefully within the next year, by the time people have played through the Undying War and they've gone from 1st to 12th or 13th level and they've arrived at the gates of hell, we'll have all 21 levels of hell ready to go so they can plunge into that too. Strag was once this city called Aliosh. When this wizard summoned the dark god Unklar, the horned god Unklar, to the plane, the horned god seized Aliosh, enslaved the wizard, and he conquered the entire world, and he ruled it for 1,000 years from the towers of Alfstrag. Now, what he did, there's dungeons beneath Alfstrag, but there's 21 levels of this giant tower, which is like 1,500 feet wide or 3,000 feet wide. I can't remember. It's extraordinarily wide, and it's 3 miles tall and 1,500 feet wide. And there's 21 levels on it, and then sub levels.
Wow.
But this is all above ground. So as you enter in the gates of hell, you literally you'll be standing at the doorway and looking up at this 3,000-foot tower. It's really a city. It's gigantic, and that's where Unklar ruled from. He's banished. Coburg takes over, and other demons and devils and all of that other stuff. Then it's just chaos inside.
Is this adventure for like level 1 to level 15? What's the level range?
I believe we will carry it through to level, always in my head, you should be about 12th or 13th level when you get to the gates of hell. When you get to the gates of Alfstrag, you should be about 12th or 13th level. So, and there's 13 adventures in it. So we're going to put in milestones to allow 5th edition players just to jump up to the next level. One of the issues, one of the kind of differences, I think, between Castles and Crusades and 5th edition is in C&C, a lot of times when we publish material, we kind of expect the CKs to flesh it out just a little bit. You have this adventure, everything's covered, but if you're going to the next one, you probably should do 4 or 5 smaller adventures in the middle to build up your experience points, and kind of build with it. 5th edition is a little bit different, not much, but it is a little bit different. So we're gonna keep that facet in there for those people who want it, but we'll put milestones in it too, so that you have finished this. Now you can go to the 2nd level or 3rd or 4th or 5th. So that by the time you get to the gates of Alfstrag, you should be, I think it's either 12th or 13th level. I think it's 12. I can't remember.
Okay.
But one of those things.
Will this be a book or a box set?
Yeah, well, it's right now it's going to be a book, probably about 300 plus full color pages. The problem is this thing comes with, I don't know, it's like 70 maps for the various adventures inside it. There's a lot of small dungeons. There's a pyramid. There's at least 2 castles. I mean, so it's just tons of maps that go through it. And I've been jamming for a very, very long time. So I know that, if you got a huge book, having to flip to this map might be a little bit aggravating. So I'm mulling over a box set to add to the Kickstarter, to do a box set that'll have all the maps in it printed separately. But we'll kind of see. That always adds a whole level of production to an item, but it's user friendly.
Okay. Well, that leads to my next question about Kickstarter. I know there's like stretch goals. Were you thinking about having maybe like digital maps as a stretch goal?
Yeah, we're looking at. I'm rooting for having Fantasy Grounds and maybe some of the other VTT as stretch goals. But yeah, definitely a map book, that would be one of them, and this box set that we're talking about. The setting book, just adding more material so you know how it is when you're running a game. You always have more questions than the writer can provide. So the more information that we can give, the absolute better. So we're going to flesh out the regions around. The pathway essentially takes you up from the city called Ascalon, along the Blacktooth Ridge, and then over to this swampy, through the Blighted Screed, into the Galsum Land, along a road, and up to the top. So we're going to kind of expand the areas around that, so you have all that information at your fingertips.
Oh, okay. Would you say that new players and experienced players will enjoy this sets of adventures?
Yeah, it originally A1 was written as an introductory module for Castles and Crusades. So it was written in such a way and designed in such a way that new GMs and new players can easily adjust to it. One of the nice things about A1, it continues to be our best-selling independent module. and it'll be kind of the cornerstone of the beginning of the Undying War. One of the nice things about it, when Davis, my brother, wrote it, he broke it up into about, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7, 8 pieces. There's a small town, there's river crossings, there's some terrain, and then there's 4 or 5 small little bitty dungeons that are really not connected with each other. So you can adventure and go plunder one and then go back. And the nice thing about this is it really gives an experienced GM has no problem running this, right? It's just, running small adventures. But a new GM and new players can do these small little adventures as they adjust to the whole kind of, the RPG skill set. So yeah, new and experienced players will feel very much at home.
Okay. Well, are there any other dungeon master tools in any way? Maybe like a device section or anything like that to help game masters?
So that's one of the things that I'm going to put in the Undying War that we've got a little bit in the Castles and Crusades version that never appeared in the 5th edition versions of these adventures. There's an introductory page. It'll be a good 15 pages that gives a really good broad context of what's going on, where all the magic. They basically, to get into hell, they have to have the Horn of Opening, but the Horn of Opening has been destroyed. So they have to find these pieces of the Horn of Opening through these series of adventures. So, but I'm going to outline that all in very clear terms, where these things are. So the DM isn't, having to look through pages and find stuff. So there'll be a lot of background and a lot of just, this is where this is where you need to go to get it, to make it quick reference. Just a very quick reference guide to make it easier to play.
Oh, wow. I'm sold. When will this be available for Kickstarter?
So we tentatively had it planned to launch yesterday, but I've pushed it back. We're trying to work with BackerKit to get a little bit more attention onto it. But it'll either be next week, which is what is that, 18th, either the 19th or the 26th. This should go live. Okay. So very soon.
All right, the April 18th or April 26th.
Yes, we do have a sign-up page. You can get it on our homepage, and you go in and sign up for notifications. And you'll know as soon as it does. And the first 24 hours, everybody who backs is going to get some free material. So if you get in there early, we're going to send you some free PDFs.
Excellent. I will make sure to have a link to it in the description below. Take care. Be safe out there, and we'll see you soon.